Hey, welcome back to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, and trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so you can easily choose the best watch for yourself in the comfort of your own home. We offer the lowest prices anywhere online, and if you'd like to know the price, simply click on the links in the description below. We greatly appreciate if you'd purchase your next watch from us at JazzTime.com. Today we'll be taking a look at the Panerai Luminor GMT. This one, the reference number PAM01535 PAM01535. It's a 42mm case size and quite an interesting watch in its own right. So I'll be going over all of the aspects of this watch: the case, the bezel, the dial, the crown functions, as well as the movement, and the leather strap here, although more of like a suede strap. Well, it is a suede strap, but the leather strap here, I'll be going over all the features and functions of this watch. So starting off with the case, we have 42mm. That's from the 2 to 8 o'clock position. So that's sort of like this diagonal direction that you would measure. Also from the 10 to 4, it's the same distance, same 42mm. You have overall a nice stainless steel high polish to the entire casing here, including the very front and on the sides. Now, even on the lugs, it's all high polish. It gives it quite an interesting look. Not something you'd see very frequently from Panerai, at least in my experience. I'm more used to seeing satin brush finishing. It gives it a more diffuse coloration, so you can see all of the steel here. But the high polish gives it a very interesting look, very mirror-like finish, sort of modern in that sort of look. Same finish that you'd see on the bezel here, all stainless steel as well, and also high polish. So it fits in quite nicely, gives it that sort of glowy look around the dial, as you can see there. And taking a look here at the dial itself, also gives it an interesting high contrast there, at least in lit situations. The dial has, I believe it's a hobnail black dial color, black with Paris hobnails, with Arabic numerals and index hours here for, well, Arabic numerals for 12 and 6, index markers for the rest of the hours here. Now, if I turn out the lights here, you can actually see that there's a full luminescence to basically everything that you need to be illuminated. The hour minute hands shining the brightest, of course, with that small seconds also illuminated, and the GMT hand pointing at just after the 4 o'clock position, and basically all the rest of it nicely illuminated. Now here you don't have these sandwich dials, so that sort of gives the hour markers themselves a little bit of a dimmer sort of appearance, so that you can very easily read the time. I believe that's the reasoning there. If anyone has a real reason, you can leave it down in the comments below. But anyway, the hands themselves also made such that they do not rust. I believe they're all as well polished steel, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure about the chemical composition of the hands themselves. I want to say that they're white gold to prevent tarnishing over time, but if I'm wrong about that, leave it down in the comments below. The hobnail surfacing here gives it a very interesting texture, very modern in its presentation, almost like a waffle actually, but gives it quite an interesting texture that I believe really sort of hammers home the idea of modernity and you know, just sort of that industrial feel that you get from a modern civilization or modern look. The small seconds hand, also a nice tint of blue around it to give it a nice sort of contrasting color versus the orange looks of the Arabic numerals and the hours on this dial. The date window also nice and small at the 3 o'clock position, doesn't occupy the entire hour there, so pretty good. You can still see that 3 o'clock illuminated. The background for the date, black with the date, sort of that orangey color to really fit in with the overall color scheme of this watch. The crown guard, very recognizable. If you saw this just by itself, you know that it's a Panerai, because they're the only ones who really do this gigantic crown guard, and for very good security reasons, because if you ever need to change any functionality of this watch, you'll have to open the lever first. You can't wear this while the lever is open because, well, the lever will be stabbing you in the hand. So Anyway, onto the basic functionality of this watch. You can wind the crown at the 3 o'clock position if you open up the lever. Doing so just requires maybe 20 to 30 full winds to get to the full power reserve. And by the way, you can actually see the power reserve on the back of the watch on the movement itself. So as I spin that winding crown, the reference will be that arrow next to days, pointing to however many days of power reserve you have on this watch. And as I continue to wind it, you can see that it slowly ticks up over time. If I can, it's hard to keep it absolutely still, but that's basically how that works. So you can actually see the full power reserve of this watch as long as you have it off, and you can still wind it nice and easy. All right, so enough of that. Basically, continuing on to the functionality of the crown here, you can pull out to the next position. Doing so engages sort of that GMT functionality in which you can just adjust the hour hand with no change to the minute or even the second. So if you're traveling, you can set the correct local time nice and properly. All right, and pull the crown out to the final position. Take a look at this. It resets that seconds hand and freezes it at the 0 position, and doing so allows you to set the GMT hand as well as the hour hand. So you can set this to a reference time. It'll be either AM or PM depending on, you know, however you set that GMT hand. It's a 12-hour GMT hand, so you have a second time zone reference there. All right, once you have the time set nice and precise, well, it's hard to set nice and precise with this because there are no index marks for the minutes and seconds. So basically you'll have to either use your intuition or just ballpark it, or you can set it precisely to a 5-minute marker, say 5 minutes after the hour, and press the lever back in, close it to ensure the water resistance of this watch, which by the way is 100 meters or 330 feet below sea level. So you can definitely take this, you know, to the local pool or the pool in your house and it'll be just fine. No deep diving, surface swimmable definitely, always wash your hands. All right, and basically what makes all this work on the inside, the movement I showed you a little bit earlier, the P9011 caliper printed right there on the movement itself, gives you the 13 3/4 line, 6 millimeters thick, 31 joules with the glucidator balance, and the Inca Block anti-shock basically means that you can get relatively close to magnets and circuitry and take a few, you know, physical bumps here and there, and it won't make any effect on the timekeeping ability of this watch. You also have a 3-day power reserve distributed across 2 barrels. So you can't see the barrels here, but the 3-day power reserve you can see indicated directly on that movement as I showed earlier. All right, 239 total parts, 31 of them joules. Again, 28,800 vibrations per hour. So you do get a very accurate and smooth movement of that seconds hand on the dial. As shown here, it's a very, very nice and clean sweep of that seconds hand. All right. The functionality gives you the hours and minutes, small seconds with the date, the GMT hand as well, the power reserve indicator on the back, and what they call the seconds reset. Again, I demonstrated all of that using the winding crown alone. All right, so the power reserve itself, up to 3 days, 72 hours. That basically means you can set it down on a Friday evening, pick it back up Monday morning, ready to conduct business. And you can just put it on your wrist, just wear it all day Monday, and you're back to the full, well, you'll be back to pretty much close to full, if not actually full power reserve, because the natural movements of your wrist keep that winding rotor spinning, which actually charges the mainspring barrel, or the mainspring barrels, and powers the watch itself. So the natural movements of your wrist will wind the watch. You don't need to pull out the crown every single time or open the lever and then rotate the crown every single time to wind the watch, assuming that you wear the watch on your wrist. Now, while I'm zoomed out here, you can see that the strap here is what they call the scamosciato strap here. It's basically a suede strap with the nice ecru stitching, and The website says it's brown, and I actually kind of believe that, even though I'm looking at my monitoring here, it looks green, and I think that's due to the patination of the suede here, because the brown, by the way, if you know anything about color theory, brown is actually just a really dark yellow. So having just a little bit of extra color on the cooler end of yellow actually turns it a little bit green. So it seems green here, but it's actually brown. If you look at it under sunlight, for example, or just the right kind of light, it actually is a brown, Escama Shadow brown. Incredibly smooth and soft on the outside. Feels very good on the wrist and looks excellent as well. Sizing holes as well. Minder loops on the 12 o'clock side with the steel Panerai pin buckle there, right? And I'll try it on my wrist so you can see how it looks, at least on a 7-inch wrist. All right, so for me, I will use the second sizing hole for me, just because, well, it's a little bit on the larger end. And you know, with the 42 millimeter case size, it is on the bigger side of things. Not something I would wear typically, at least on a day-to-day basis, unless I am going for the size. The absolute girthiness of this watch, incredibly thick and gigantic. I believe, let me see here, I don't have the thickness of this watch. If anyone knows the thickness, you can leave it down in the comments below, but very, very thick watch here. Definitely won't slide under a suit cuff, but will slide under a jacket sleeve, no problem. Not that that's ever been an issue for me, but overall, the sort of wrist presence, as they call it, the gigantic size of this watch, well, that's what you get from Panerai. If you buy a Panerai, that's what you get. It's a gigantic but easy to read, almost sort of borderline on a pilot's watch type of size. And you know, they originally made their watches for the Royal Italian military, so it made sense to them to make something nice and big, very easy to read. That's sort of the premise behind that. The crystal itself, domed, sort of a convex dome, so be careful of that when you have this on your wrist. But you know, having something this big, well, you're gonna know it's nice and big anyway, so you won't have an issue sort of avoiding door handles and wayward desk edges and such. For my wrist, 7 inches, the lugs do hang over a little bit, but not to fear, because the strap does pull straight down. So I can recommend this for anyone with a wrist size down to even maybe 6 inches, or even 5.5 if you want to go loud and proud in that sort of sense. Nice and big, large and in charge, whatever you want to call it. That's basically what you get from Panerai, and this one is no different. GMT features quite useful in their own right. You can always have a reference time for home as well as your local, which you know you can also set without disturbing the seconds or the minutes. So once you have this nice and set properly to a reference time, it'll be hard to, you know, get it out of sync. So nice and actually quite good from Panerai here. Now, enough of what I think. What do you guys think about this watch? Let us know down in the comments below what you think about the PAM01535, the 1535, the Luminor GMT, in other words, from Panerai, the 42 millimeter case size with the black Paris hobnail dial, Arabic and index numerals with the brown Scamosciato strap. I'm not quite an Italian pronunciator. I'm not very good at pronouncing Italian, so leave it down in the comments below how bad my Italian is, but basically a suede strap. Again, the reference number PAM01535. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when we go live with another video like this one. And as always, if you'd like to purchase this watch, new, used, or any other watch, discontinued perhaps, you can get it at our website, jazztime.com. Links in the description below where you can get it for the lowest possible price anywhere online. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.